Hello. So we ended up last time we were talking about Perseus and the Gray Ladies and how he took their eye so that he could get information. And they said, well, you got to go to the nymphs of the north. So the nymphs of the north, and I just throw this in, they love to dance. They provide Perseus with some pretty nifty gear: winged shoes, a cap of invisibility, which may or may not have been borrowed from Hades. Same thing with the winged shoes. Are those an extra pair from Hermes? The stories vary. And the cap of invisibility may have been borrowed from Hades. And they also give him this very cool thing called a cabesus, which is just a cool word for a bag that expands or contracts to fit what's in it. So if what's in it is something, say, uh, like a bottle of nail polish, then it'll shrink down to fit that. If it's, let's say it's like a bed, then it'll expand to fit that. So whatever the size of the item that's in there, it'll expand or contract to fit it. Some people in previous classes have compared it to like Santa Claus's bag, and maybe that's how Santa's bag works. I don't know. Uh, it's also just honestly a fun word to say. I mean, you should just try it right now. Pause this and just say cabesus, right? And then you'll be, wow, that really is a fun word to say. So with his newfound gear, Perseus, he's almost ready to go. Hermes gives him a scimitar, which is sort of a curved sword. As we'll see in the pictures, the amount of curve in the sword seems to depend upon the artist who's drawing it. This word does show up in Monty Python and the Holy Grail. If you can find that quote and share it, that'd be wonderful. So he loans Perseus a scimitar, and Athena loans him her shield. So here are the nymphs of the north. Interesting that they're depicted as three people as well. And so there's one of the winged shoes, the other one. There's his cap of invisibility, which also has wings, interestingly. And then there is the cabesus right there, which he will use. You've probably figured out what he's going to use that for. So our hero headed for Medusa. And what's the main problem with cutting off her head? Right. If she looks at you, you're turned to stone. So you can't go the direct route. What are you going to do? Well, you use the shield that Medusa gave you as a mirror, and you kind of use it to angle yourself into the right spot. And it's Athena's suggestion, right? I mean, Perseus, she loans him the shield, and she says, hey, why don't you do this? Use it to be able to guide yourself there. And so he does, and Athena even, as it turns out, guides his hand, right? She gives him the shield. She tells him how to use the shield. And then when he's bringing his sword down to cut off the head, she guides his hand. So he gets a bunch of help on this particular part of his quest. So after Perseus kills Medusa, he throws her head in the cabesus. He gets out of dodge. And the Gorgons try to, chase him. But how do you catch a guy with two very distinct advantages? He can fly and he's invisible, rather. I mean, that's not an easy handicap there for them to overcome, so they don't catch him. Here's a very cool picture from a Greek vase, and there you've got Perseus, obviously, and there's the head of Medusa, and there's the cabesus, and there's Athena having helped with this whole deal. And there's the scimitar, and you'll notice that's really curved. By the way, there's the winged shoes again. So it's a very curved scimitar. Well, some of the other pictures we'll look at don't have quite that curvature to them, but they all have at least a little bit of curve. Oh, I'll accept this one. All right, so I make the comment here: if graphic images disturb you, close your eyes. You can just sort of. I'll let you know. How about that? I'll go through this, and then I'll say, hey, you can open your eyes again. But here's a picture. There's the shield and Perseus. Now, in this depiction, she's not helping him. She's not guiding the sword, but there he is using the shield, and there's Hermes in the picture as well. And here's a very famous sculpture of this whole thing, and there's the head. And notice the scimitar there does have curve, but it's just curve at the end. And we shall look at more pictures next time. Thanks.